Avowed is upon us. The reviews are out, and if you have the premium edition, you can go ahead and play. So we'll take a look at where it is sitting right now on the review scores, Metacritic, OpenCritic. We'll also take a look at the sales so far for Avowed. Looks like it's doing pretty good, particularly on Steam and on PC. Obviously, we don't know how much it's selling on Xbox, but it's on Game Pass, so that will have an effect. The performance modes have been tested, so we'll see how those are doing. Looks like it runs decently well. PlayStation, we have some big news here from them. Their consoles, of course, are selling very well, and we have an update on just how well they're selling, as well as the fact that looks like they're going to be making more Astrobot style of games, which makes me very happy. Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming out in about a month, and this is a pivotal game for Ubisoft. Pre-sales are looking good, and we have more information from Yves Guillemot on Ubisoft on what their plan is going forward. And the RTX 5070 series cards have been delayed, and we'll give you the reasoning why there. So that's what we'll talk about today. If it is your first time here, as I see about half of you who do watch on a daily basis are not subscribed, I'm going to keep asking because it does seem to prompt a lot of people to hit that subscribe button, hit the subscribe button, help the channel grow. And if you're new here and you like what you see, I talk gaming news on a daily basis, keeping you up to date with pretty much everything going on in the gaming industry. Hit the subscribe, like, share, all of that stuff. But let's start off here. Let's talk about Avowed, because for me, this is one of my most anticipated games this year. I have the premium edition. I'm going to jump in and play as soon as I can. And it's from Obsidian. They are known for making incredible RPGs. Obviously, one of the best ones that everyone always talks about that they will love to come back is Fallout New Vegas. They've also made the Outer Worlds and are working on the Outer Worlds too. They have the Pillars of Eternity universe that a lot of people love. And from the Pillars of Eternity universe spawned Avowed, which is the kind of, people are touting it as their Skyrim or their smaller Skyrim style of game. And the reviews are now out, and it is doing decently well. Not insanely well, not bad, but decently well here. Sitting at an 80 on Metacritic and an 83 on OpenCritic. It is one of those games that I've been going through reading the reviews. I've listened to the people that I trust, like ACG and Mortismo Gaming. They are enjoying this game, so I'm very excited to jump in because those are the reviewers that I look at it before I do play a game if I do end up watching reviews. But you can see some of the reviews here. A bunch of 9s are on the board, some 8s, some 7s, of course, from IGN. With they love giving out those 7s. Game ran to 7. GameSpot gives it a 6, and then it has some other 4 out of 5s here on the other scales that are down there. So we take a look at some of the comments about this game. I've been going through the reviews over the day yesterday, listening to a bunch. Most of the reviews are fairly to very positive on this game. Then you'll have some that sit on the other end. This is my biggest issue with a lot of games right now that do come out. And when you're trying to look at reviews, it is very hard. I've talked about this with something like Dragon Age, the Veilguard. It is almost impossible to get a handle on whether it's a game that you will enjoy if you like RPGs, if you like previous Obsidian games, without playing it. Or in other styles of games, the same thing applies, like with Dragon Age the Veilguard, because you have such extreme views that are very positive on it, and then you have other extreme views that are negative on it, and you just kind of have to play yourself to end up seeing if it's something that you'll enjoy. Now, this one, overall, I would say, like I said, I've gone through a lot. Seems very good. I'm going to be jumping into the premium edition before I give my take on Avowed and what I think about it, of course, because I want to play it. It's one I've been looking forward to for a while. But it was very highly anticipated, and it looks like the sales are showing this when it comes to Avowed on PC. And what is really nice about picking this game up on Steam, we have confirmed that you actually get the cross-save, cross-progression for this game if you're also playing it on Xbox, if you do purchase it on Steam. Something Xbox has been doing with their releases. They did this with Indiana Jones, and if this is the future for all Xbox games, where no matter what platform you purchase it on, you get your cross-play and cross-progression and everything, that's phenomenal, and that brings a lot of value for first-party Xbox games, in my opinion, because that's what I've been thinking about and wanting for a very long time across all platforms. You purchase it, and even if you purchase it a couple of times, your save should be able to go from device to device to platform to platform. So great that Xbox is doing that. But in terms of sales on Steam, it's doing very well. This, I think, is going to be a huge hit with Avowed. It's hit number 1 on Steam. This is Aaron Greenberg tweeting this out, saying Avowed just hit number 1 on Steam. Thank you to those who help support our launch, and he shows it here ahead of Civ 7, ahead of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and as of right now, ahead of Monster Hunter Wilds. I feel like that will be number one when that game does release, as it is extremely popular. But you can see it here, the number one game right now on Steam in terms of top sellers. And on top of that, it was, I believe, the number one game on Twitch. It was only the IRL streamers that were ahead for things that was being streamed on Twitch. So this game is going to do very well in numbers. It does look like that, and we will see how it does translate for Xbox going forward. Obsidian looks like they've knocked it out of the park, basically. Sales, the reviews are decent, and I can't wait to go ahead and jump in. The other thing people will always want to know about when it comes to these games is going to be the performance of it, and we have the Xbox tester here who has done the performance mode, tested the performance modes, including the 40 FPS option on the Xbox Series S. This game has 60 FPS, has 30 FPS, has 40 FPS, has basically everything that you're going to need to be able to experience this game. And it says here, just in terms of the results, all in all, Avowed is looking very solid across all of its gameplay modes, and we're especially pleased to see that 40 FPS gameplay also extends to the Xbox Series S. As for the 60 FPS, that mode is exclusive to the Xbox Series X at launch, and it seems to be running rather well on Microsoft's more powerful machines. So 40, 60, really however you want to play this game, seems like it is pretty well polished, and they didn't release this thing broken. I've seen one review that they've said it's broken. I believe it was Luke Stevens who said that for him it was broken, but I haven't really heard too much about that. So I think overall, very polished game, and they're learning their lessons, or they've learned their lesson, of course, from a game like Redfall. Xbox has learned their lesson. So far, we've had Indiana Jones released recently. Phenomenal. Avowed is looking very good. I haven't played yet again, but I'm going to be jumping in very soon. And both of those, just in terms of performance and everything, were well done. There was no big glitches in them. So excited for this one. Avowed off to a strong start, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about Avowed going forward from when more people jump in, because the official release date is February 18th. Unless you have the premium edition, then the release is right now and you can go and play. All right, let's talk PlayStation. PlayStation has two announcements here that I think are both very, very positive. First of all, the PS5, as we know, we've talked about this before, the PS5 sells very well. And the emphasis on first-party exclusives is not what sells PlayStations. It's not the main thing that sells PlayStations. You can even just look at the last couple of years where they've been lacking, and they still sell very well. It is a main console for a lot of people, and they've continued to use this main console from PS3, PS4 into PS5, and it looks like the PS5 here is going to sell about as good as the PS4, which is a big feat because it's over 100 million units. Right now, they have reached 75 million shipments of the PlayStation 5. This was in their recent financial results for the 3 months that ended December 31st, 2024, and they reported shipments of 9.5 million PS5 consoles, which is the best quarter ever for the PlayStation 5 era, and only 0.2 million behind the PlayStation 4's peak in Q3 of fiscal year 2017. And launch aligned, the PlayStation 5 is now just 1.5 million units behind the PlayStation 4 during the same period of its life cycle, which the PS4 at this time had 76.5 million units. And Sony has shipped 15.7 million PS5 consoles during the first 3 quarters of its current year, with a target of 18 million by the end of March. And these results also include the sales of the PlayStation 5 Pro, which launched in November. The PS5 Pro selling good when it launches, not a surprise, something that I said was going to happen, because it's all the enthusiasts that do pick this thing up, even at the $700 price tag. People who want a PS5 Pro, they're going to get it at launch on day one. Going forward, it will be interesting to see if they do break it down. I'm not sure if they will, but if they do break it down into the further financial reports, how well the PS5 Pro is selling comparatively to the PS5, I wonder if it will still be high, or if people who've bought it, that's it, and then it's just going to trickle out in terms of sales going forward. And I think a big thing is because of the price tag, and because we are getting closer to the end of this generation. If you do think about it, you're buying a PS5 Pro for 2, maybe 3 years, and then PS6 will be coming out. And as soon as the PS6 launch, I think it will definitely hurt the sales of the PlayStation 5 Pro. So very, very good in terms of the sales of the PS5. It will continue to sell well, regardless of their first party content and their output. We talked about this in my video yesterday, where that was what disappointed me the most about the state of play. Is we don't know where their first party games are at. Developed first party games, not the stuff that they've money hatted, not the third party deals that they make, not the games that they publish that other developers make, their first party studios. We don't really know where a lot of that stuff is, but it does not make a difference in terms of people going out to buy a PS5. It is still going to sell very, very well. The other thing here that is great to see, and this is something that I also talked about in terms of Astrobot, was I was hoping that the sales were enough, and I thought it was, because it's lower development costs for this game comparatively to their big cinematic games. So 2 million sales for Astrobot probably makes them a good profit. And because of that, I was hoping that they would say that they would make more games like Astrobot, which is what I would love to see from PlayStation. And it looks like that is the case. This was during an earnings call. The president of Sony, Hiroki Totoki, highlighted Team Asobi's platform's recent award success and said that it had validated its intention to expand its family offerings in the future, saying at the Game Awards 2024, our first party title Astrobot won 4 categories, including Game of the Year and Best Family Game, the most of any title. In addition, the live service game Helldivers 2, which was released in February last year, won Best Ongoing Game and Multiplayer Game Awards. The fact that titles and genres we are planning to expand in the future, including titles for families and live service games, have received these awards as a major stride towards building a broad title portfolio. So I think there's 2 things you take away from that. PlayStation is still needing to and are going to build live service titles, multiplayer titles. They still need those styles of games in their portfolio. Now that they've canceled so many, what is the next step for that? They are going to be making more. We just have no idea what it is. And he mentions it right there that they need to broaden their overall portfolio. And then Astrobot winning awards at the Game Awards has signaled to them that they should make more games like Astrobot. And not necessarily, in my opinion, they have to be family friendly, but just more like gameplay oriented platformer styles of games, and broaden that overall portfolio that PlayStation first party studios does have. To me, that's all good news going forward. But I mean, it'll be a while before we do see anything out of those genres launching from PlayStation. All right, let's talk Assassin's Creed Shadows. There's a lot of concern about Ubisoft and how much is resting on the success of Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I think there is tons resting on the success. This is their biggest franchise. They always sells very, very well. There is an entire campaign to try to destroy this game, and some of it was rightfully so because Ubisoft did mess up, but they've continued to show more stuff off for this game. It looks phenomenal. I'm going to be playing this day one. Absolutely. I love the Assassin's Creed games. And now we have information about pre-orders, and it looks like as of right now, it is going to do well sales-wise, as pre-orders, they are saying, are in line with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which was one of their best-selling Assassin's Creed games. This was during Ubisoft's Q3 2025 earnings call. Yves Guillemot said that pre-orders for Assassin's Creed Shadows are tracking solidly in line with those of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the second most successful entry of the franchise. And I believe that game sold around 10 million copies or so, and about 40 million people actually played it one way or another, whether that's like through subscription or whatever. So that's very good. I mean, if it sells that many units, then it will be a success. They do say this as well, that early previews have been positive, praising its narrative and immersive experience, with both characters playing critical roles in the game's storyline, as well as the quality and complementary of the gameplay provided by the dual protagonist approach. So we'll see what happens here with Assassin's Creed Shadows. I believe it is going to sell well. I've been saying this for a while, and I will be shocked here if it just flops when it does end up coming out. If it does sell well, it will be interesting to see the narrative and how it gets changed regarding this game. If you're following any of it online and all the videos here that go out all the time trying to destroy this game, we'll see if those narratives do change or if they'll find something else to try to bring this game down. I mean, of course, there were things that Ubisoft did that were stupid. They should have done more research and everything, but they did delay it. And I feel like they've gone in and changed a lot of stuff and made up for the things that they had wrong, hoping that it will propel this game to do well. I mean, they've delayed it twice now. They're not taking any chances here, I think, of releasing it in a broken state or to have any sort of weird campaigns against it. So I think it will end up being successful. The other thing here that Yves Guillemot does talk about is the plan for Ubisoft. And again, Ubisoft still is under the Guillemot family. They haven't sold off to Tencent or anything. That may come in the future. We don't know. A lot of it, I think, is resting on Assassin's Creed Shadows, but as of right now, Ubisoft is Ubisoft. They're operating under the same people and everything. And he says here that they're going to be focusing on 2 pillars going forward. And these 2 pillars are going to be the open world games, which I think, no matter what a lot of people do say, I think Ubisoft, their open worlds, especially their recent ones, have improved a lot. And I think they're very well done and very detailed. If you have played Star Wars Outlaws or Avatar's Frontier of Pandora, those worlds are beautifully done. So I like their open world games. And he says here that we have been investing significantly for a big pipeline of products for the coming years along our 2 verticals, these being open world action and adventure, as well as games as a service native experiences. And that's what we want to deliver year after year, which would mean Assassin's Creed games. You have the Crew Motorfest style of games. You have Riders Republic, and those are the 2 kind of pillars that they are going to be moving forward with. And as long as, I mean, those are the things that are bringing in all of their money, realistically. Even like Rainbow Six Siege is still a games as a service and still sells, and still tons of people play that game. So they'll continue to support those style of games. I still hope that they do things like Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, because that was one of their best games. It obviously didn't meet sales expectations, unfortunately, which is a very annoying, because you see a lot of people clamoring for different types of games and going in a different direction and giving something unique, and then they do, and it's a phenomenal game and doesn't sell enough. So I hope they do still make those styles of games. So going forward, another Rayman in the future would be great as well. And finally, NVIDIA's RTX 5070. It has been delayed. We've seen the prices of the 50 series. They are huge. We've seen some benchmarks, and they're, I think for some people, disappointing comparatively to where people want to see the overall gain of these RTX cards. The claim that the RTX 5070 was as good as the 4090, that was one of the big things that NVIDIA had at their showcase at CES. Although basically I think they're just using a lot of AI in there, like the raw power isn't the same. But the 5070 is going to be delayed until after AMD does their reveal. So it says here, as always, the most important in NVIDIA's graphics card is the one you can actually buy. And NVIDIA talked a big game for the RTX 5070, making the dubious but nuanced claim that it can deliver RTX 4090 performance for just $549. February 28th, AMD will get its chance to show off the Radeon RX 9070 and 9070 XT during their streaming event, which I'm actually excited to see what those are all about. Now, because of that, it looks like the 5070 is going to be moved from February to March 5th for its release. But the RTX 5070 Ti will ship its $749 graphics card ahead of AMD's event. So they're probably just sitting there and thinking, let's wait and let's see the competition. And then we will have the 5070 available for everybody. The card that a lot of people are going to end up trying to pick up. So if you're looking for it, it will be released now on March 5th. But on the video there, guys, if you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.